Hey there, how's it going? My name is David and you're watching Kai City RC. Welcome to another very quick, very brief RC garage update. I wasn't able to get a video out this weekend. I did shoot some footage with the Genova at the park, but I haven't had a chance to edit it. I've got lots of work-related projects going on at the moment. October, early November is always a very busy time for me work-wise. At the moment, I'm working on a couple of other projects as well, RC related ones. So as you can see, the Grasshopper 2 is in pieces. I've just done some work on the body. If you didn't notice, this body was actually painted matte white, Tamiya matte white color, and it looked very nice when it was done, but a few track days and it gets beat up quite badly. The problem is being white, you can't really polish out, you know, tire marks and stuff like that. So I just ended up getting some 2,500 grit sandpaper and just going over everything and giving it a kind of worn down, faded look. I actually quite like it, so I'll keep that as it is. As for the chassis itself, for my second race, I plan to do a couple of changes. So the first thing I'm going to do is lower the front down a little bit more. Last time I just lowered it with a couple of O-rings, so I plan to go a little bit lower this time. I'm also replacing the stock axles with those from I believe these are from the Lunchbox. As you can see, they're a lot longer and a lot beefier. And what they allow you to do is basically, most people will put some plastic bushings as spacers here and then run the standard tires much further out, giving you much wider track. Or you can actually put, you know, obviously wider wheels and tires on if you want to. It's not a straight swap though, because as you can probably tell, the ball end is much larger on the Lunchbox, so you have to basically, these need to be upgraded anyway. You have to replace the steering rods with something a bit beefier. So that's for the front end. The rear end is the one that's giving me not a headache, but I'm not sure what I want to do. Some people have gone to really extreme lengths to modify theirs. I plan to do mine in stages, you know, a little bit at a time, race it, see what works, see what doesn't. But one thing I do want to change is the Grasshopper 2's rear end. So it differs from the Grasshopper 1. The Grasshopper 1, basically, this plastic piece here, it's a bit dark so you probably can't see it, is basically a fixed point. So the rear gearbox unit can just pivot like this, but on the Grasshopper 2 it's similar to the Hornet, where it allows it to move side to side. The downside though is, in order to stop this moving up and down, you get these very weak little springs that mount inside these black pieces here. But every time you accelerate, basically the gearbox just slaps up like this, and it makes for very inconsistent driving, and you lose a lot of acceleration. So I'm looking at fixing this. Now obviously the easiest thing to do is basically just pull this off, this piece off, and replace it with the one from Grasshopper 1, which is fixed, and so this can't pivot up and down. But then you lose the side to side movement, so I may look at doing some extra linkages or something like that. We'll see. I'm still debating different setups. For the rear, I'm just going to stick with what I did last time, so these adapters along with the Blitzspeed tool wheels and tires. So that's the Grasshopper work in progress. Another work in progress is this. So this is technically my second DT-02MS. My first one I've run for like 15 odd years. It's now retired. It's seen better days, it's retired. I've had this one new in box since about 2007-ish, and finally got around to building it. As you can tell, not box art. I wanted to do something different this time. Incidentally, I was planning to do what's become my standard race livery, red, white and blue, but I wanted to use these black wheels that I've had for ages and not got around to using, and I just felt it didn't really match, so I've gone with this. This is Tamiya champagne anodized, champagne aluminium, something like that. But it's back. Normally you back it with black, but I backed it with bright silver and then white. I should have actually put a final layer of black on, because it's still a little bit translucent in places, but nothing major. So this is a DT-02MS, which basically means it's the standard DT-02, but it's had a load of Tamiya hop-ups thrown at it. So in no particular order, universals, aluminium dampers, turnbuckles all around. It came with a ball diff, what else? Full bearings, of course, aluminium motor mount, aluminium heat sink. They're pretty much all the mods you get on the MS. I've had to replace the ball diff with the standard gear diff because the ball diff just didn't like running on a high traction carpet surface. So that's one mod I've done. I put a small carbon fiber shock tower brace on. I would really like to get the Tamiya one, but the Tamiya stuff is just so hard to find that I don't think they make it anymore. So it's near impossible to get the Tamiya shock tower braces for the front and rear, and the Tamiya stabilizer sway bars front and rear. It's just so hard to find them. I've replaced all the screw pins with stainless steel suspension, for another my words here, stainless steel suspension pins. Everyone was recommending that's the first thing you do. I'm not sure I'm going to bother. You can actually replace the screw pins that the shocks mount to with Tamiya upgrades. I may do that at some point, but I'm not sure. It's been modified so it will accept shorty LiPo battery packs. That's pretty much it really. I've just got to set it up. It's running Silvercan 540 17 tooth pinion. Cooling. With the MS kit, you actually get a rather nice looking aluminium heatsink. I would probably use this to begin with. Most people tend to use this screw mount here and mount a fan and run a fan on the motor. I'll see how I get on with this. I have noticed running around the circuit that the stock silver cans get really hot, surprisingly so. But I took a temp gun along with me and I was seeing temps in the region of 60 to 70 degrees after like 15 minutes of continuous run time. And so I figure, you know, the races, they tend to be 3 laps or 5 laps at most. So it's going to get hot, but I think, I don't know, let me know in the comments. But to my mind, motor temps are in the 60 to 70 degrees region isn't too bad. I mean, obviously lower would be better, but if it does seem to be too hot, then obviously I'll put a fan on it at the end and cool it down. I'm actually working on a fan install on the DT-02B because that gets really hot. So I'm going to have to work on the cooling on that. But that's what's going off at the moment. Also tinkering with the DT-02B, like I said, doing some maintenance on the Yokomo YZ2. Got a big stack of hop-up parts for various stuff to be fitted. So yeah, I'm kind of super busy at the moment on the workbench, but I will get back to shooting running videos. The season's changed now and fall colors are starting to come out, so anxious to get to the park and shoot some video. Well, that's it for this RC Garage update. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.